For 36 years, I was a full-time pastor and a part-time woodworker. Now I'm a full-time woodworker and a part-time pastor. But every day in the shop, I see things that remind me of God. And so we'll look at some of those things here on the Cross and Chisel. Come on into the shop. Today, I'm making a picture frame because I have a very significant picture that I want to hang in my house. It's a picture of the Grand Canyon that I took last summer. You know, that's been on our bucket list to see the Grand Canyon. And I went to the canyon and I stood on the edge and was amazed at how awesome that canyon is. It's 277 miles long, 18 miles across, and it's over a mile deep. It was carved with raindrops. We call it a drop in the bucket. And you think about a raindrop, if its only task was to fall on the earth and to carry one grain of soil away from the canyon, how many it took and how long it took. It makes us all kind of shrink because we feel much, much smaller when we're standing before a creation like that. I remember when I was a child, I took the catechism, and the very first question was, why were we created? And the answer to that question is we were created to worship God and enjoy God forever. Whenever we worship, we contemplate and acknowledge the value of God and praise God for who God is. On the other hand, we might have a secondary task of being a raindrop in some area of life. Look at the soil that I have here. Just a handful of ordinary dirt, which I guess is like the dirt in a canyon, and these tiny little particles. And over the eons of time, raindrops have carried particles like this to make a canyon. And when you think about grains of sand, a grain of sand can be a kind word. It can be an insignificant act that nobody notices. It can be a prayer. It can be a dozen of those things in a given day. Can you imagine anything greater than standing at the edge of the kingdom and finally seeing the little raindrops that God has used in your life to make something greater than you could have imagined? I sure couldn't have imagined the Grand Canyon. And I can't imagine what's before us, but I know it's going to be something really good. And it all started with a little act that's not anything but a drop in the bucket.